You have already heard of the FIRE movement before. It stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And on paper, the idea is simple. Save and invest aggressively so that one day your money generates enough to cover your living costs, meaning work becomes optional much earlier than traditional retirement age. But here's the thing, a lot of people get stuck on the retire early part and completely miss the most powerful part of the whole idea, which is financial independence. Because for most people, the real goal is not doing nothing forever, it is having freedom. So in this video, I want to break down 5 reasons the most valuable part of FIRE has nothing to do with retiring early. The FIRE movement has become hugely popular because it promises something a lot of people want, a way out of feeling financially trapped. Traditionally, FIRE is about building enough wealth, usually through a combination of a high savings rate and long-term investing, so that you can stop relying on a salary much earlier in life. Some people love that idea, me included. Some people think it sounds extreme, unrealistic, or even a bit miserable. And honestly, I can see both sides. But whether or not you want to retire early, I still think FIRE gives us one incredibly powerful, useful framework. Building enough financial independence that your life choices stop being controlled by money. That is the part worth paying attention to for sure, and let's get into 5 reasons why. Reason number 1, FIRE is really about making work optional. At its core, FIRE is not just about quitting your job, it's about getting to a point where you do not have to work in order to survive. That does not necessarily mean you stop working, it just means you gain choice. You can keep working, but from a completely different position. You can choose work that is more meaningful. You can take a pay cut for a better lifestyle. You can leave a toxic work environment. You can take a break without ever collapsing. That is why I think financial independence is the real prize. Not because everyone dreams of retiring at 38, but because nearly everyone wants more control over their time. Reason number 2, financial independence protects you from bad situations. One of the most underrated things about money is that it acts as protection. When you have no savings, no investments, and no margin for error, your choices become much narrower. You stay in jobs longer than you should, you tolerate things you hate, you panic more easily, of course, when something goes wrong, so you struggle to recover from setbacks much harder. That is why financial independence matters. It reduces vulnerability, it protects you, and even if you're nowhere near full FIRE, having some financial cushion makes you more resilient, and that resilience gives you immense power. Reason number 3, you do not need full FIRE to start feeling freer. That is why I think the conversation becomes much more practical. A lot of people hear FIRE and assume it only matters if you reach some huge investment number, but that's not true. You feel the benefits much earlier than that. An emergency fund gives you breathing room, a lower cost base makes your life easier to sustain, a healthy investment portfolio gives you momentum to keep going and the motivation to do so, a strong savings habit makes your future choices less stressful. So financial independence is not a finish line you either hit or miss, it's very much a spectrum, a range, somewhere you navigate towards, and every step towards it increases your flexibility. That is a much healthier way to think about it. Reason number 4, FIRE forces you to question what enough looks like. One reason the FIRE movement is so powerful is that it pushes people to ask a question that most never really stop to ask in their life, which is, how much do I actually need to live a good life? When is enough? Because without that question, it's very easy to drift. You earn more, you spend more, you upgrade your life, and then suddenly your freedom is just as far away as it was before. FIRE forces that intentionality. It makes you ask the question, what lifestyle do they actually want? What numbers do they need to achieve that? And therefore it implies that there is an end in a way. There is an enough to work towards. It makes you examine your lifestyle, your priorities, whether your spending is actually bringing you closer to the life you want. And that does not mean never enjoying money, of course, that's not the point. The point is to enjoy money more than you would otherwise, but it just means being honest about whether your money is buying joy or just buying more obligations, really. Reason number 5, the real value of FIRE is freedom, not retirement. This is my biggest point, and I touched on it a little bit before, but really to reiterate it, I think the branding of FIRE has confused a lot of people, because retire early sounds like the goal is to escape work altogether, sit on a beach and never do anything ever again. But for a lot of ambitious people, that is not what they want, and myself included. I count myself in this group. They don't want a life of doing nothing. They want a life where they can choose the job, the city, the pace, the rest when they need it, ambition when we want it. This is why I think the more useful interpretation of FIRE is this: financial independence is about buying back control over your life. And once you see it like that, the whole movement becomes much more relevant, even though you never plan to retire early at all. So yes, FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early, but I honestly think the most important part of the acronym is the first half, because financial independence is not really about escaping life. It's about having enough stability, margin, and ownership that you can live life on your own terms. And that is valuable, whether you want to retire at 40, work part-time at 50, or simply stop feeling trapped by money in your 20s and 30s. That's really the promise. Not early retirement for the sake of it, but building a life of freedom. So if you're building towards financial independence, I would love to know what that actually means for you. What is the meaning that you give it to to it? Is it quitting work entirely? Is it working less, having more peace of mind, being able to take risks? Do let me know down below. And I work with my clients one-on-one to create a life that they want and to achieve the FIRE number. That is a key thing that we do together. So if you're interested in my one-on-one personal finance coaching, then reach out, leave a comment, and I'll leave my calendar link below in the description. And hopefully I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.